Guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Ajulam here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and if this is your first time of checking out my channel, kindly subscribe and turn on the bell notification so that you get to know anytime I put up a new video. So guys, for today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a Peter Pan collar bodice for a baby girl. So if you're interested, let's move down to work. Ankara fabric, and I will be using a 1-year-old baby girl measurement to do this. So I will just fold my fabric like so, as you can see. So as you can see, I folded it it should be 6 inches, but here I have 6¼ is still okay. So the bodice length will be 8 inches, but before then I'll mark out a straight line as a guide. Okay, so this is the straight line here. So I'll be using 8 inches. Remember, 1 inch is for my seam, while the actual bodice length is 7 inches. So this is 8 inches here. I'll connect it to a straight line. So now I'll mark out the shoulder measurement, which is 8 divided by 2, because my fabric is on fold. That will be 4. So here is 4. And I'll come down by half, which is the shoulder slope. So this is the half here. So for the shoulder I'll be using 2 inches. Sorry, for the neck width I'll be using 2 inches, while the neck depth I'll use the same 2 inches. Okay, so I'll connect. You should be familiar with this by now if you're a returning subscriber. Okay, so I'll connect. After connecting, I'll connect this shoulder slope to this point here. Okay, so this is it. Then I'll mark out, remember the armhole is 3 inches for 1-year-old. So this is the 3 inches. I will insert the shoulder measurement, which is 4, and I'll connect to a straight line. Okay, so now this is the chest line here. So now I'll check what I have here. Here is 3 inches. Half of that is 1½. That is where I'll be, which is the midpoint, 1½ here. Okay, so I'll go in by ½ inch. Okay, you can also go in by 3/4 depending on what you're making, but for this I'll go in by half. Then the chest measurement is 20, so 20 divided by 4 is 5. So this is 5 inches here. I'll add 1 inch for my seam, making it 6 inches. The same thing applies to the waist. So this is 6 inches here. Then I'll connect to a straight line. Actually, you can make this in less than 10 minutes. Okay, I've connected that. Okay, then I'll curve this area. I'll be using my French curve, but if you don't have, you can use your free hand and do that. Okay, so this is the front. I will now cut it out. The front. Now I'll cut out the back. I'll just fold my fabric into 2 and make sure I have 7 inches on fold. Remember, the extra 1 inch is for the zipper allowance. That is if you want to add zip to your dress. So on fold, I'll make sure I have 7 inches. Okay, here I have same 7¼ Okay, so remember the bodice length is 8, so I'll mark that out and connect it to a straight line. So after connecting it to a straight line like this, I'll remove the 1 inch for the zipper. Okay, so this is the 1 inch for the zipper allowance. So now I will insert the other measurements starting from this line here. So I'll start with the shoulder, which is 8 divided by 2, and that is 4 inches. So here is 4, and I'll come down by half inch for the shoulder slope. Remember, for the neck width I used 2, so for the back I'll do the same. Here is 2 inches, but for the neck depth I'll be using half inch. Like I said earlier, it depends on what you're making. So I'll connect. From this point here, I will just connect it. Okay, here you can also give it any shape you like. So this point, I'll connect this point to this point. So here I'll come down by 3 inches, which is the armhole. Here is 3 inches, and I'll connect it. After putting in the shoulder, which is 4, then I'll connect it to this point. And I would also like the back to have the same shape, that is the back armhole, to have the same shape with the front. This side is optional. If you like, you can make it the normal way. I will curve the back side. So now I will repeat the same thing I did on the front. 3 inches, half of that is 1.5. I'll come in by half, and I will insert the chest, which is 5 plus 1 inch for seam. I'm just repeating what I did on the front, so the same thing apply to the waist area. So now I'll curve this and cut it out. Okay, after curving it, I will now join the shoulders together before we cut out the Peter Pan collar, which is the main tutorial for today. So before then, let me just cut it out. While this is the front, so now I'll take this back and turn it over like this on the front, making sure that the front is facing each other. So I'll join the shoulder together. Okay, let me just do that first. So as you can see, I've joined the shoulders together. So in making a Peter Pan collar dress, there are many ways of doing that. But this, I'm showing you a very simple way. For me, it's a simple way of going about it. So after joining it together, I will fold this into 2 and give it a little notch on the neckline. That is the front neckline. Here at the center, I will just give it a little notch. Okay, after doing that, I will now take my fabric and place it on top. But if you want your Peter Pan to just be on the front, all you have to do is just to use the front one to cut it out. But I want it to be both in the front and at the back. So I will take my fabric now and fold. I'll open it up like this. Okay, and I'll take this and open it up as well on this. Okay, and I will trace out the line. Okay, I'll now trace this out and stop at this place, this center that I gave a little notch. So let me just trace it out with my chalk gently. Okay, I'm going to do that, and I will stop at this point here, as you can see. Okay, so now this is the point here. This is it, and this is the line. I hope you can see the line very clearly. Okay, so now you determine how many inches or how wide or small you want your Peter Pan collar. Okay, but for me, I'll be using 2.5. By the time I'm done sewing it all round, I'll end up having 2 inches. So I'll mark that 2.5, okay, all round to that point, and I'll connect. After connecting, I'll now give it the shape that I want. Some like theirs to be straight. Okay, so from this point here, I'll use my French curve. Okay, and because I want this place to be curvy, so I'll slant it. Okay, here you can actually decide how you want the shape to be. Okay, for mine, I'm okay with this shape. Okay, but this side, I'll make it just straight. Okay, and that is how easy and simple it is to draft it out. Okay, so now I'll now cut. Here, this is the collar. Okay, let me place it over so that you see. But I'll be cutting more 3 of it out because I'll be using it to line it as well. Okay, so I'll be needing 3 more. Here I have 1 already. Okay, so this is it. So now I'll cut out more of this and I'll sew it together. Here, as you can see, this is 2 and this is 2. So I've folded it, making sure that the front is facing each other. So now I'll sew from this point. I'll just sew it all round and stop here. I will only leave this area open, and I will do the same on the second one. So let me just do all that quickly. So this is it. After sewing it, I stop top stitch. But when you're doing top stitching, you do it carefully. Don't be in a hurry. So this is what I have. But before sewing it, if you have your hair stay or paper stay, or just gum it first so that you have a very strong collar. But for this, I'm very okay. So now I will take it to this front and I will just pin it on the neckline. That is where I want it to be. Okay, I will start from this point and I'll pin it. As you can see, after sewing it, I still have my zipper allowance. Okay, so now I'll pin it and stop there. This is very okay for my zipper allowance, and I'll do the same, okay, for this second one as well, and pin it. After pinning it, now I will just stitch on top of it before I use my lining and place it over to sew. So guys, that is how easy and simple it is to make a Peter Pan collar bodice for a baby girl. So that is it for today. Please subscribe if you have not, and turn on the bell notification so that you get to know anytime I upload a new video. So I'll see you guys on the next one.